Hello, everyone. This is Brother Benson, and I'm joined this evening with my good friend, brother, Mr. Miguda. Mr. Miguda, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing very good, bro. I'm
Mm,
faring on very well. It's
mm.
a very calm evening on my side. I can
Eh,
report to you.
nasikia ni kama kuna ndege zinaimba hapo kwa tuseme kwamba kwa himaya yako.
Yeah, kuna mandege zinaimba juu unajua pali niko ni pali pazuri na pali nimekwambia ni pali cool sana, na pia
Ehe.
sasa kuna haja nikae kwa nyumba. Nimekaa tu nje ili ikifika saa moja ndio nileke nyumbani kwa nyumba. Sasa kuna hewa nzuri tu ambaye nasikia tu vipawa pali niko. Sasa hakuna haja ningie ndani ya nyumba mpaka saa nitaona giza.
Okay, asante sana Gypsy Kona kwa support yako. Tunakushukuru sana, pia tunakusalimia. Naona ulitutangulia. Asante sana and may God bless you. Sasa Miguda, kuna jambo kabla tujaenda kwa makaribisho ya Rigathi Gachagua ambao watu naona saizi wanatoa picha ya kulinganisha Rigathi Gachagua na Raila alipokuwa amekuja, na wametoa kuna jambo ambao jana tulikuwa tunazungumzia hapa, mambo ya Kenya, na mimi pia nataka unisaidie kutafsiri haya maneno, kwa sababu kuna hii, ukienda katika mtandaoni unapata kwamba inasemekana kwamba Kenya walinunua tiketi za watu wa Tanzania dhidi ya mchuano wao na Morocco. Sasa inamaanisha kuwa Wakenya walikuwa wamenunua tu, lakini hawatakuwa wanaenda kuhudhuria ama kushabikia Tanzania, lakini inasemekana wamenunua ili Watanzania wasihudhurie katika mkutano hiyo. Hiyo ni jambo la kwanza nataka uniambie, na pia kuna jambo ambalo inaendelea kwamba wanasema kwamba tuwahurumie, hawa ni watoto wa yatima. Na pia wanasema hawa ni watoto wa single mother. Hebu hii mambo ya single mother ya Kenya wanaita wa Tanzania, kwa nini? Hebu kama wewe unafuata hii kitu vizuri, kwa nini?
Mambo matamu hayo sana. Unapata siasa za Kenya na Tanzania zimekuwa siasa tamu sana juu ni
Eh,
siasa za nchi jirani, na pia
eh,
kuna vile tunaelewa, unajua tunazungumza lugha moja Kiswahili, na
eh,
vile vile tunajaribu kushindana kidemokrasia, kimchezo, na
mm,
vile vile tunajaribu kushindana pia kibiashara, na kuna mambo mengi tunaambatana na Tanzania. Sasa unapata
mm,
kwanza Watanzania walisema sisi ni wachawi, na
eh,
walisema sisi kama Wakenya tumechukua rais wetu
mm,
tukamweka katika VAR, na sasa
mm,
rais wetu anaamua ya kwamba tunapata goli ngapi kwa VAR. Wakenya ni
mm,
watu wachawi sana, walisema kitu kama sasa. Sisi pia tukasema kama sisi ni
eh,
wachawi,
eh,
Morocco wanakuja kwenu sasa,
eh,
ili mtiende mshabikie timu yenu, juu sisi tukuna imani ya kwamba tulishinda Morocco na hata
yeah,
tukiwapata katika finali tutawashinda. Sasa tunasema hawa Tanzania watolewe katika robo finali sasa
mm,
ili wasiende washabiki timu yao ili
mm,
waibuke washindi. Sasa moja ya kuua timu yako ni kuondoa mashabiki katika uwanja. Sasa moja
eh,
yapo ni sisi kununua tiketi ili wasihudhurie ile mchuano yao na Morocco.
eh,
Lakini mambo na single mother,
mm.
mimi napenda kusema, ningependa kutafsiri mambo na rais wao. Pengine rais wao hana bwana yake.
Ah, ah,
Pengine
hapo si kweli, si kweli. Huyo si kweli, si kweli. Hebu tafsiri, alafu mimi ndakwambia, kwa sababu mimi
haya,
nimeitafuta nikajua.
sawa. Wacha nitafsiri. Ningependa kutumia maneno mawili. Kwanza,
Eh,
pengine rais wao huenda ukosa bwana. Sasa
eh,
wanaweza sema hawa watoto juu, unajua katika taifa rais
eh,
ndio baba la taifa, ama
eh,
kama ni wa kike yeye ndio mama wa
eh,
taifa. Sasa juu yeye mama wa taifa na wale hawana rais mwanamume, sasa tunasema hawa ni watoto wa single mama.
eh,
Alafu pia nasema hivi, unapata wengi wengi wa wale mashabiki ama wengi wa wale wa Tanzania,
eh,
pengine niseme mambo na familia, pengine
eh,
kuna utengano miongoni
eh,
ya familia zao. Sasa unapata wengi wao
mm.
wanaishi bila bwana zao. Sasa wanasema wengi wao sawa wanakuwa watoto wa single mothers, kitu kama hiyo.
Okay, asante. Sasa Miguda, mimi nataka kupeleka nikiangalia sehemu za siasa tu. Unakumbuka Mama Samia Suluhu Hassan anaendeleza ile serikali ya Magufuli. Unanielewa? Anaelewa.
Nakupata vizuri.
Kwanza unajua Magufuli hakumaliza tamu yake ya uongozi kwa sababu kwa bahati mbaya kifo kilitokea. Yeah? So ingekuwa leo Magufuli angekuwa anamaliza tamu yake. So kwa sababu Magufuli hayupo na aliridhi ile serikali ya Magufuli na hakupigiwa kura, inamaanisha kwamba walipoteza baba wa taifa. Sasa baada ya kupoteza baba wa taifa kisiasa, mimi nakwambia tutapata kwamba ni ukweli, walipoteza baba wa kitaifa. So kwa maana sasa unapata Wakenya wanamoita watoto yatima na watoto wa single mother. Sasa hapo ndio sasa uangalie kwa makini. Hiyo ndio sasa tafsiri yake ya ukweli. Kama
hapo nimekupata vizuri, tena inaeleweka vizuri, tena nasema hiyo tafsiri ni tafsiri ya hali ya juu. Unapata tulipoteza yule hayati Magufuli, mama alikuja na sasa mama alikuja na baba alienda, sasa ni kama watoto yatima. Baba yupo, mama sasa watoto wa single mom. Hapo nimeelewa vizuri kisiasa.
Sasa ndio nakwambia Kenya nchi yetu hii ni Kenya ambayo labda kila kitu ambapo Mkenya anasema kuna maana yake ya undani. Kuna ile we call it the face value that for entertainment purposes, but when you dig deep and start to analyze, it has deeper meaning. That's why the wanaita watoto ya yatima. Let me invite Barak. How are you doing? Hello, Barak. Okay, thank you so much.
Hello.
Barak, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, and you?
We are doing fine. We're just about to start on to look at what happened, especially for the grand welcoming of Rigathi Gashagua, and like we were just still talking about our the Kenyanness, that what they keep on referring the Tanzanians as watoto yatima ama watoto wa single mother. So we kikwako we Mkenya, we unadhani ni jambo gani wanajaribu kusema wewe?
Watoto yatima kwa sababu rais wao aliaga. Watoto wa single mother kwa sababu wanaongozwa na rais wa kike.
Okay, asante. Sasa Migudu, umesikia hayo. Sasa Baraka amekuja na tena utafsiri mpya kwa sababu wanaongozwa na rais wa kike. Umepata hayo? Okay, thank you.
Jambo Miguda, uko salama?
Okay. Thank you so much, Barak. Miguda amesikia mambo ya kuongozwa na kike alafu akaamua kutoka. Easy banters zimekuwa too much. Thank you so much, and thank you so much. Moses, how are you doing? Thank you so much for joining us. Today is a Thursday, and we saw Rigathi Gashagua today came from United States, and what I saw, Barak, was the shield when he arrived, especially when he was coming from the arrival. I saw how he was shielded by his supporters. And what did that one speak to you when you saw that? And they came into the airport quite much early. They were there early in the morning, and they were just waiting for almost 6 hours. They were there waiting for Rigathi Gashagua. What does it one speak about the Rigathi Gashagua?
In my opinion, I think Rigathi has starting to develop. Let me say, you know, in Kenya we have a hardcore followers.
Yes.
And we call it a personality cult, where we have people who believe in you and they can do anything. Mm-hmm. They can go as far as doing anything for you, and that's what we are now seeing with Rigathi Gachagua. He has started to build that solid support around him. Yeah. That he's now has supporters who will be spend a night out and even in the rain, just waiting for him and maybe being with him and listening to him and so on and so forth. We've seen this with other politicians who have done that. The likes of Raila Odinga and even Ruto. Remember, in the run-up to 2022 election, he had that kind of personality cult, and that solid supporters who will do anything for him. So that's what we are seeing, even though the number is not that that big, but it's growing.
Yeah.
With the time, we'll see how that will unfold.
Okay, thank you. And Baraka, I do agree with you, because building that fanatical base, especially with what we have with Raila Odinga, and look at the political journey of Rigathi Gachagua. This is somebody who came into power, especially to interact with the politician actively, was a one-term MP. So from one-term MP to the executive, and after that being impeached, and now you see this person is building such. You cannot compare him, especially with the crowd that might have gone to the JKA to receive him, with that one of Raila Amolo Odinga, in terms of experience and somebody who has stayed in politics for so long. But the credit given to him, he has done some of the things that even some politicians, especially, I would compare it with Kalonzo Musyoka. Some of the things that Kalonzo Musyoka has not done, when you look at Rigathi Gachagua, and give credit to him. Miguda, what do you say about that?
I just want to say, from what I saw when Gashagua arrived from United States of America, when he came back, I can't compare him with Raila for now, because you understand also there's time difference. The way you have stated categorically that, unlike Raila, who has been in politics for a quite long time, and someone who has been a prime minister, someone who started his politics long time ago, someone who was even involved in the 1982, the multi-party democracy, Gachagua has been missing in action, but he has been there, but now politically, he has not been active. But since Ruto brought him in 2022, or since he came by himself as 2017, the first time MP, actually, I can give credit to him that he has managed to build a certain base, even though it's not that much bigger, but it is a good step politically, because there are people who have been in parliament even from 2002 up to now, and cannot command even such crowd, marching from JKA to Mombasa Road. So to me, I believe that Gachagua, I can just say, is ambitious, and Gachagua has really mastered the heart of the Kenyan politics, and he can make some moves which are significant, even though they can be smaller, but they are significant, because you have cited rightly that people like Kalonzo have been there. But whatever Gachagua has tried with this short duration, you cannot compare him with Kalonzo, and even people like him, they have been there. So that's why I still believe that Gachagua, give him time, he's gonna make some significant moves going forward politically. And also, we can't compare him with people who have been there for quite long. Even Ruto came earlier politically, so that's why when even Ruto was having some supporters by 2022 who were very active, the fanatic supporters. He's someone who has built this thing for a quite long time. So Gachagua is just in the process of building it, and I can just say, so far, so good as a politician.
Okay, thank you so much. And if you're watching us for the very first time, this is Brother Benson Media. You can also subscribe. So when we are having such like conversation, the YouTube will notify you, and you can also engage us in the comment section of what you think about Rigathi Gachagua political journey, especially his homecoming, the crowd that came to receive him. Even though when people looking at the crowds of the previous, especially the Right Honorable Prime Minister, people are now comparing when President William Ruto was coming from Egg and all that, the crowd that came to receive him, and they're saying like the one for Rigathi Gachagua is not very impactful. But let us agree. When we take our political affiliations, when you're looking at a matter like this, especially in politics is about creating perception. And if from the look of things of what happened at JKI, Mr. Barak, it has made the conversation now to people start to converse about Rigathi Gachagua, whether you want to converse about him negatively or positively, but the conversation is going on. Do you see this one having impact in his early in his upcoming events, especially with what just happened, especially we are still within the JKIA. We are yet to come out and talk about what happened when you look at it critically.
Yes, I think it will have an impact in the united opposition.
Yeah.
Because comparing himself with those other principles within the united opposition, he stands tall as the only giant among the dwarfs.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is going to, I feel sorry for the likes of Kalonzo, because they've not been able to match up to Rigathi Gachagua within the united opposition.
Yeah.
So when time comes to negotiate who's going to be the flag bearer, Rigathi atawaachia tu kwa huruma yake, but because there's no one who can match him.
Yeah.
So it's either him, and I know that people who support him are going to be so hard on this other principle. They're going to be so hard on them.
Yeah.
Because comparing the two, what are you bringing on the table? Rigathi has a lot that he comes on with that he brings on the table, compared to Kalonzo, compared to Karua, compared to Eugene, even if you combine all of them together, they cannot match what Rigathi brings on the table. Yes. Because Rigathi has mastered that art of Kenyan politics, and especially playing with the minds and the emotions of Kenyans. He has really mastered that, and it has really earned him a lot of support. Because the others have not really done much in terms of what Rigathi is doing. So the others are going to struggle to convince him to support them, because in politics, and how Kenyan politics is done, is played out, they really have nothing to show compared to what Rigathi has for now.
Okay, and Barak, talking about the opposition, and because like this was one of your members, United Opposition leaders, who was outside the country, is now coming back. We were expecting to see member of United Opposition to come and receive Rigathi Gachagua, but that was not there. I did not see any of the principals, especially from United Opposition, receiving Rigathi Gachagua, apart from the strong DCP members. What does that one communicate to you?
For me, I think that was the best thing that they did.
Yeah.
Because now they've left credit to DCP only. Because if Kalonzo could have been there, Karua, Matiang'i, and Eugene, they could have said, we came with our supporters, so to receive him. But now, since they decided to stay away, they've left the credit to DCP and Rigathi Gachagua alone, so they cannot now come in and start claiming anything. So I think it was something positive to Rigathi Gachagua that they decided to stay away. But now it has worked against them, because they cannot claim anything on the events of today. But if I were them, I could have been there very early in the morning and claim the crowd that is there. I think tumekuja na watu wetu kukaribisha nyumbani. I think they don't know how to play Kenyan politics, and that is their main undoing.
Yeah, and I agree with you, because like offering moral support, because this is what we call offering moral support. Remember, this person has been out for 6 weeks, and during his absence, you've never had even a big rally or a big gathering that can, inform people that we are in charge. But at the same time, this person is arriving as a United Opposition. You are not there to offer that moral support, because like if they could have come, they also could have come with their fan base, and it could have been a very huge crowd, especially that is the crowd of DCP, the crowd of Matiang'i, and all of them, Eugene Wamalwa, but they were absent. And this one also points out at the bargaining table, Mr. Miguda. What will that bargaining table be like, especially now if you are coming to the bargaining table? What are you coming with? What will?
Ben, before you bring in Miguda, let me just say something.
Yeah.
You understand also, maybe it was done strategically by the DCP, because I think Malala maybe is having some problems with the other principals. So maybe they decided to sideline them in the organizing, because we've not seen them coming out when Malala has been issuing threats and ultimatum to the police on the media, you remember it has been a one-man show and a one-party show. So I think that also might have played out to ensure that they are not brought on board when organizing the homecoming and everything.
Okay, thank you so much. Miguda, can you come in, please?
Okay, I just want to say that you understand, just like the two of you have said, I want to concur with you that it was very important for other principals also to come and receive him. Because remember, even what made Raila to have a huge crowd was because Kalonzo came, Watangula came, and they were principal by that time. So everybody was at airport to receive Raila, and that made it have a very significant crowd following him from JKA to the CBD. So if you find some people like it is good because this person is one of your comrades. You want to go to war. How do you abandon your comrades when it's getting back to the country? You need to stick to your comrade until last minute. Until last minute, because right now we do not have the general in that composition. So it's like he was alone. So if he's alone, he can claim the position of the general. That because whenever I'm having difficulty, there were ultimatum that he was going to be arrested, he was going to record a statement, and actually, the presence of police officers were there. Civil. If you watch it very closely, there were civilian officers who wanted to arrest him. Because of that push and pull from the crowd, you saw people like Methu wearing vest. You saw people like Nyotu, the center from Ranga. They were being pushed because there were officers in civilians who were attempting to arrest him. But because of that massive support and push and pull, so people like Malala being pushed to an extent that they succeeded to get Gashagua out of the JKIA and out of the civilian officers. So I can say that it was very important for them to go and also face those arrests, because that's what happened when people were going for the mock swearing in. When they never show, people gave credit to people like Joho who were there and they were not principals. People gave credit to people like TJ Kajuang who were never principals. And actually, Miguna was taking away the crowd from Raila. If it was not strategically that he had to be forcefully, he said he was never deported. If he was never forcefully taken out of Kenya against his will, today we could be saying another thing. But what I want to say is that the fellow comrades failed regarding Gashagua in the quest to come to Kenya, because you understand Gashagua has been facing a lot of frustration from the government, like things like police officers, things like allegation. Right now, he's a person who is on the government radar, and it is always good to come to rescue him. So I can just say from within the JKIA, Gashagua still remain the man to watch in opposition, not the other principles.
Okay, thank you so much. And Barak, I want you also to bring another perspective, because this one I want to concentrate on Kalonzo Musyoka. Remember when the Baba was going to do that mock swearing in, we thought, especially Kalonzo being somebody who was like the next immediate leader to Raila Amolo Odinga, his absence was witnessed. And today also, being somebody who has experience and somebody who has served in various capacities as even deputy president or vice president during the Kibaki regime, his absence a day to day also was missing. Will that one kind of like during their meetings, especially during opposition, somebody will raise that and say that how can we trust this person?
Yeah, that's a legit point, because if you cannot show solidarity with your comrades, there's that comradeship that if I am a comrade, you are a comrade, we must have solidarity. And when I need you and you are not there, you don't show up, it raises credibility issues. And Kalonzo has been having these credibility issues for some time in his political career. Remember, it started long time ago. It did not start yesterday. Today it started, and when you remember when LDP were walking out of Kanu's government, when these guys walked out, the likes of Raila, Kasaitoti, Olentimama, Mudiawori, when they resigned together in a presser, Kalonzo was missing in action. Kalonzo resigned the following day in the morning. And that he was so reluctant to leave the KANU government. Now, come 2007, remember he ran away with ODM Kenya and left Raila with partyless. And Raila and Ruto, they had to play Kenyan politics and so that they can get hold of the now ODM that they have, that Raila has right now. Remember, this ODM was registered by another person, so they had to buy it from him and make it so that they can have a party to use in 2007. And now, if you look at even it is believed that when Wako draft was being debated in Parliament, Kalonzo hid himself in the toilets. And you remember during his beef with Kalembe Ndile, Kalembe used to mock to castigate him and sarcastically that ule jamaa wacho atatuambia nini. So he has been having this character of not being solid enough when he's needed to become. So you cannot count on his support. And even this tag of watermelon, it came out because many people don't understand where this tag came from. During the 2010 constitution, we were having a group that was leading the campaign, led by Raila and Kibaki, and the other side was Ruto, who was leading the no campaign. And we had people like Kalonzo, people like Uhuru, who are not really sure whether to support or to oppose. Since no was red and yes was green, so and watermelon outside is green and inside is red. So they said now Kalonzo should come out clearly and stop being a watermelon. During the day, he's green, he's supporting yes. During the night, he's saying no, because so that's how they tag watermelon. So it's someone who you cannot really trust politically, because what the people like Raila, people like Ruto, people like other strong politicians, even if they are wrong, they stand up and they defend the decision that they've made. They are not neither here nor there. So leadership also calls for decision making. And once you make a decision, you stand firm by that decision, even if you are facing criticism. You just because a leader sometimes you are called upon to make a decision. You don't just hide yourself under the carpet and you wait for people to decide. Then you come up and say, "I'm also in this side." No, make a decision. Let people criticize and defend that decision, so that you can also stand out as a leader of your own mind. So I think this is going to be a debate going forward within the united opposition, because they will be also asking themselves, when we needed people to stand with us, who came out? And if you did not come out, why do you expect us to stand with you? So you will have to answer that.
Okay, thank you so much. And I'm just getting an information, and this is from the commission has described the claims as false and misleading, urging the public to disregard. This is the news that was going around that the EACC denies raiding residents of National Assembly Speaker Moses Watangula. It was something that was going on, and we wanted to talk about it, and now they are saying that we should discredit it. It is not true fact. So we will also look at it, and Miguda, maybe if you look at the united opposition and the force that Rigathi Gachagua has, and there's also that claims that has always been that the DCP has been one of those parties that intimidates, and this backs during the time when Malala insisted that in Malava constituency, the DCP has to fail the candidates, telling the DAP Kenya that it is a Bukusu party. Do you see opposition having it easy, especially on the DCP, or they will have just to agree because the center of power is in the Rigathi Gachagua, especially concerning the united opposition?
This united opposition, they have been with some people before, like Kalonzo have been with Raila before, and most of time when decisions come to be made, it's more of, you look like he is being intimidated, but not that he's being intimidated because of the character. That's why people don't tend not to trust him. And that's why even he was subjected to interview in the previous election. He was subject to interview, then later he was promised the CS for prime cabinet because of the character. So even in the DCP, I don't see any different scenario because the DCP right now has proved. I remember DCP party leader and the deputy party leader respectively. They are ruthless leaders, and they are tough people. They do play rough, and that's how you can manage in Kenyan politics. So if someone like Kalonzo, who is appearing to be more of a diplomat, and they'll even look at Eugene, they're just birds of same feather. That's why they are flocking together. And Matiang'i might not have a good number of people backing him in the Gusii community. So regarding Gachagua still remain a man to be watched. And that's why things like that's why Gashagua was very clear that he's gonna spread all the candidates in the by-elections in the entire country, including Ugonja and Kasipul Kabondo, because he's someone who understands what power is. Actually, Gachagua understands power very well, and he understands how to consolidate power. And that is why he went for Malala, because they understand each other. And Malala is working under instruction from Gashagua directly. And even if it was made, maybe you can say that it was deliberate that DCP were going to receive Gashagua by themselves. Maybe it could have come from Gashagua command center that let us appear like the DCP. We can remember even the times when Kalonzo used to disturb ODM. ODM you say, okay, we can go by ourselves. We don't need you. We can even hire some people. Even the way they chase Watangula out of the minority seat, because sometimes these people, they are causing a lot of disturbance in the coalition, but they are bringing actually not significant number. So at times you can be tiresome as a party. Then you say, okay, I can have my way. If you can't manage the pressure, then you can get out of the coalition. So that's why even when Raila was going to make coalition with Ruto, he never consulted them because it was a waste of time. They will just drag you, but they're not focused. That's why Gashagua made a decision that is what he want to face William Ruto head on, and is doing exactly what he's supposed to do. So why should you waste time? Let me tell you, if at all Gashagua could have just been at Karen home, press conference, then back to Karen home. So he could have not been making steps, but you understand the way he has made a DCP party, get out of the country, mobilize the international community, mobilize the diaspora team, and now he's back to the country. Is a conversion of the day. At least he's making Kenyan's politics to be sweeter, other than sticking to press conference, back to Karen, press conference, back to Karen. Then then what are you doing? Some people are not ready. Like I've said before, there are some people who are not ready for leadership. There are some people who are not ready to play politics. They just want to survive with the political circle. So I can report to you that when that time comes for them to agree on the decision of the coalition of the united opposition, I think DCP will have a say over the other parties.
Okay, thank you. But let us look at DCP, and what I want you to paint for us a picture of the people who are in the strategists in the DCP. Let's give them. The strategists in DCP are doing a better job. They know where to the buttons to push and what to say, because like they keep people engaged, even though sometimes we might get that negative backlash from the people who do not assign to the art of regarding Gashagua politics, but at sometimes they control the narratives. Look at what they've done, especially, and today the CS for security, for internal security, was asked like there was heavy police presence in the JKA, and you know what the CS answered? That is not aware. You're just informing me now. And what does that one mean? Especially, how does that one paint, especially even the government? Because like if the CS is not aware of heavy police presence at JKIA when he's asked the same questions. And when you go to the JKIA, you see the police presence. How does that one paint even how the CS?
This government, the main undoing is that so many people are so incompetent.
Yeah.
And the problem, the biggest problem of this government is incompetence. People are holding positions and they are not competent enough to perform in those positions. And that's why you see people like Murkomen talking the way they are talking, because of incompetence. And I think Ruto and Gashagua were together. They campaigned together and they formed the government together. Even after when Gashagua was being impeached, when you are in a relationship, you know someone's strengths and weaknesses. So Gashagua left Ruto understanding very well the strengths and weaknesses of Ruto as a person, and even of the government that they formed. And I think he has been capitalized.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
To ensure that he keeps the government busy. And the government is now busy doing absolutely nothing. They're just busy because they have been kept busy by Gachagua. And even Gachagua is very strategic, even by the people that he appointed to be part of the leadership of DCP.
Yep.
Someone like Malala, Malala, the character of Malala, and you know how he plays his politics. And he's there strategically to do a specific job, and he has been doing it very well. Yep. And even though I know if things go south, he will be the first casualty, because he's there to do a specific job, and he has to do it because he's the only one who can do it better in that way. So I think Gachagua has people who he knows can do what he wants them to do, and so far they are doing it very well. And they are exposing the underbelly of the government, because when you have a government of people who are incompetent, the president comes out clear and say that he understands ministry more than even the cabinet secretaries who are heading those ministries. So he is confirming to us that he has employed incompetent people to run the government with. And that is the biggest, that's the beginning of failing. Even during Kibaki's time, the reason why Kibaki was able to do 1, 2, 3 is because he was having competent people leading ministries.
Yeah.
People that knew what they were doing, people that knew what was needed to be done. And that is why you could see some transformation in economic, maybe his economic policy. But when you have people in office that you have employed, and you know that they're incompetent, and you are working with them, then the result is in the public domain. You can see things going south. Yeah. So that is the main undoing of this government, and DCP is going to keep them busy until 2027. And by 2027, I don't know if they're going to have even energy to continue talking the way they're talking.
Okay, Barak, the reason why I agree with you there, because like when it comes to the people that the president has given them job, they've decided not to get out of their political affiliation and to serve the country as a civil, as civil servants. They serve the country looking at the political and the allegiance that you have for the person who has employed you. Even though sometimes you have to have that allegiance, or that you have to play according, but you can play it smart. I did not expect, especially CS. He has been talking about Rigathi Gachagua coming back home. We will arrest him. He retracted that, and talking about everything that have been put in place, especially talking about Rigathi Gachagua. But now you want to convince me, Barak, that the CS did not know that there was deployment of police officers at JKI.
Of course, he knew.
Yeah.
And remember, he's the CS for Interior and coordination of government. So he must order the police officers to be somewhere.
Yes.
And remember, and I think the biggest problem that he did was to focus on to start commenting about Gachagua'S return and arrest, and even, I don't know, recording statements. A minister for Interior and national coordination should be someone who is skilled, number one, someone who is firm, and someone who can really lead, because that is not just any other ministry. And I think the last person who held that position was who was very serious was Dr. Fred Matiang'i, because even when Professor was there, he really tried to do something compared to what we have right now. And remember, during Uhuru's regime, we had someone like Olelenku. Olelenku messed up that ministry completely, and he was clueless until he was replaced by Ngaiseri, and Ngaiseri unfortunately passed away. And then when Matiang'i came, that's when now people started seeing things happen. Now compare that with the Kibaki regime, when we had someone like John Michuki as the Minister for Internal Security. We had someone like Professor George Saitoti as the Minister for Internal Security. We had people who understood the art of governance, people who understood the issue of security. And just go back to maybe those who are not, they just go back to 2007, when Mungiki was terrorizing people in Nairobi. And Michuki was asked, and he said, when you see the government is quiet, it does not mean that the government has been defeated. You just watch this space, wait and see what will happen. And when he decided to crash the Mungiki, he did not care. And most of Mungiki members were from their community. So sometimes when you have the right people in positions of power, they do know what to do, and they know how to bring solutions. But when you have people, because maybe they are friends, or because maybe you persuaded them to resign their elective position, now you are just there with them, it's like you are helpless, you don't know what to do. Then give them ministries that are less demanding. We have ministries that are less demanding. I remember when Governor Anne Waiguru was resigning from the same ministry. No, she was the Minister CS for Devolution, and she said that she was advised to go for lighter duties. So can also give this CSS lighter duties, because CS for Interior is demanding, and we need someone who is sober. Someone who is sober does not mean that someone who is not taking alcohol. It means that someone who understands what to do. You might not be taking alcohol, but you are not sober. You are drunk with power. You are confused. You are just speaking anyhow. You don't know your position. You don't know that you sit even in the National Security Council. You are just speaking like any other person, like someone who attended Bunge la Wananchi, and you are just opening your mouth anyhow. CS Murkomen do not understand the importance of that ministry he's leading. And that's why we need someone. Who understands, someone who will, because that means you work closely with all the security agencies. You work closely to ensure that we have stability. And once these politicians understand that we have a weak person in that office, I can assure you, they will be teasing him every now and then, because they know he will react. You remember after 25th Gen Z commemoration, when he came out to address the press, and he got angry during his presser, and he started talking anyhow, and you start wondering, when you're a leader, you must keep your cool. You don't just start talking, then along the way you get angry and you start uttering words without even thinking critically. So this guy is not the right guy for this job. And if I were Ruto, he could have just been given a ministry that is less demanding. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Barack, for that. Because, the reason why even I agree with you, look at how some of the pronouncements that he has made, especially while coming to address, especially matters to deal with the security. This one the one that you've talked about, mtu akikuja mpige risasi. You saw that. Look at how the issue after the protest, where the IDs were lined together, and and this is your ministry, and you display those IDs, and you say, even if somebody comes to raid somewhere, will they forget their IDs? And remember, the somebody that they're dealing with the Rigathi Gachagua, somebody that has been in administration. He understands. Let me tell you something that especially Rigathi Gachagua and Natembeya, those two people, they understand administration and security very well. Yeah, these are people who they're knowledgeable about the security, and once they see, especially like the strategy committee of the strategist of Rigathi Gachagua, they know the weakness of Murkomen, because like they do something to provoke you. In the process, you just come out and say something that sometimes might not make sense, and that one exposes your weakness as a leader. And that is what, especially in politics, you done, or even in the business, you employ what we call the SWOT analysis. How do you use well your SWOT analysis? You look at the weakness of a company, and that is, if there is a weakness, that one becomes your strength. So they will look at the weaknesses, especially of Murkomen, in terms of how he collects himself, especially when dealing with the matters to do with the public. So that one becomes their strength. At the end of the day, they keep on exposing your weakness each and every day, and you will look incompetent, even though and people will talking about your incompetency, and you have this history. How can you erase that incompetency in your history? Now, Miguda, immediately Rigathi Gachagua left. When they reached the Mombasa Road around City Cabanas, there were goons that attacked the convoy, and we spoke about this yesterday, and we said that it will have to happen. Why do Kenyans we don't learn? Why not even Kenyans? Let me call our leaders do not learn. Miguda.
If we spoke about it and it happened, so people like Gashagua understand that it was going to happen, and some people are just planning things like openly. You understand when Makadara MP Alada was speaking that he had got no intention to disturb Gashagua rally and he got no goons, but exactly what Malala was saying, events unfold exactly as Malala said. So it's these people are predictable. The opponent is predictable. So if the opponent is predictable, to me, this game is very easy. It's just Gashagua just needs something small. Gashagua just needs something small, something small for him to finish these cards. Gachagua needs many things. He needs to clear his name with the court, things like impeachments. Then Gachagua needs to do some other things. That one is now left for his team. Even if he's not running, endorsing another candidate, you need to do some small things to ensure that he can, because these people are predictable. If we are not even in that government, we are not even in that National Security Council, but we are able to tell that actually tomorrow goons are going to disrupt Gashagua, and it turns out exactly as we predicted. So what are they doing? What is Yes Murkomen doing? Because it's someone who is privy to intelligence, someone like we said, there was no need for them to block Gashagua. Then they go ahead to block him, but he managed to get out of the airport. So why were they blocking him? Unnecessary tensions. Like we said, there was no need of shutting down Kamkunji ground, because look at that crowd. If they could march peaceful Kamkunji, what else could they do? Wangefanya nini? Hakuna kitu wangefanya. They could have just marched back home. Like we said, there are some scenarios in this country we have seen before. Kibaki came, there were no presence of police officers. People went home peacefully. Raila came, they tried to block him. Heavy police officers, 17 people were killed. People, properties were destroyed. So it is something that I can say that there are some unnecessary tensions which are being created by people in authority. I don't know for what gain, because they never arrested him. He never recorded a statement. But there were civilians who wanted to arrest him at the entrance. Again, there were goons who attacked him. For what gain now? Even if in matter of political, now Gashagua is the person who has gained that sympathy card that he has been attacked. And I suppose there was some destruction of the vehicle. Such things, they will take a shot, then they will post on their X page that, okay, we were attacked by goons. Then it will be obvious that because they were predictable that these were government goons. So it is something that, to me, I can just say the opponent is very predictable, and that's why, to some extent, Gachagua is having a field day.
Okay, thank you, and I agree in a scenario like this, especially when issues to do with what has happened by the Goons attack Rigathi Gachagua, and even if it was organized by somebody, the blame will go to the state and say that the state and the county the county of Nairobi, that they will accuse because it's about politics. Politics is about what can I use to discredit my opponent? And when opportunity like the violence erupts in a situation like that procession, it will be the political talking point, and this is why he was being stopped. But when you look at that and you look at the idea of them canceling the Kamkunji rally by his team, what can you call about that? Was that a well-informed decision, especially not to go ahead with a rally in Kamkunji?
I think that was strategic.
Yeah.
In politics, you also have to be smart. And I think it was so strategic even to say that they will have a rally at Kamkunji, and knowing very well that they will not do that. Some things I think they're also learning from Enigma himself. He said that he will be in Kamkunji, then you see him at Serena. So these politicians, sometimes they play mind game with the people. Because they know I'm going to follow this route, and sometimes you also do that to divert the attention of the police, because they will send police at Kamkunji to fill the then you use the Mombasa road, and before they run this other side, so you just cut and mouse until the day is over. So for me, I think that was just strategic, and there was no intention of holding a rally at Kamkunji. It was just a political strategy that they used, so that they can have a good procession from the airport through to Mombasa Road. Then I don't know what was the intention, what was the final destination, but you just tell people to go home, then they will give them direction.
Okay, thank you. And talking about it was a strategy, and this also, I would think that politically they've made it the country to get anxious, and people are waiting for Rigathi Gachagua to talk. You keep people on that expecting mood, like what is he going to say? He did not talk today, so we are looking at tomorrow. So he will keep people conversing about himself, and we are still waiting for him to talk to us. What is the next move? And maybe the next event that Rigathi Gachagua will be having, it will be one of those events that will be followed, especially online, and people will have so much interest to know what Rigathi Gachagua is doing. So that is what we call the public management. You are trying to manage the public and manage their conversation and have them think about you. Like you control the 50% of the conversation around the country. Mr. Barak, what do you say about that, to public manage and people have that waiting mode on what Rigathi Gachagua is going to say?
Yeah, it's a good political strategy that he's using, because the people, I think the public is anxious to hear from him, and he knows that he has nothing to tell them. That's so. What do? You continue postponing. You show up, but you don't say anything, and he has traveled. He will say, "Okay, I will communicate after this long." After this while, maybe few days. After that, they will say, okay, let us focus on the by-election first. After by-election, we'll give you direction. So it will just be a direction, giving direction until people, until the right time, maybe the right thing comes up to talk about. Because currently, I can assure you, if you understand, we have people who cannot keep quiet when they have something to say.
Yes,
they will just say it. And like Gashagua is one of those people. When he has something to say, he will say it. But when you see he's postponing to say what he wanted to say, it means there is nothing to say for now. So he's looking for something to tell the people. And people are also on the periphery waiting for to be told something. And when you remember when Raila was coming back with the Baba while you are away, that kind of thing. So you are looking for an opportunity to steal the show others and maybe come up with something
uh,
and come up with something to tell the people and to
yeah.
excite them so that they feel that you really care about them.
Mm.
Yeah,
Oh,
so there is really nothing tangible that Gachagua can tell the people apart from what he has been telling them
uh.
all this while.
Okay, so this is what Nehemiah is saying. Hamkutaka kuonesha drama cause mlipatwa na wafuasi wa Ruto. Okay. Okay, Sawa, thank you so much, Nehemiah, for that. And Laban Misiani, Barak, don't better something bad. Gashagua has nothing but the Murima theory. Okay, that is according to Laban. Now, Barak, when we look at Rigathi Gachagua and even where the opposition, even the people that are not allied to him, you look at this person from the time he was impeached. And his impeachment was, I said yesterday that it was supposed to kill his political career. And that was like within 2 weeks, we were going to forget about Rigathi Gachagua. And today, until today, he has become the center of conversation, whether negatively or positively. But his impeachment has, to me, I think like has built him to where he is today. Let me bring me good. Do you think there are some regrets, especially for those who initiated this impeachment and now in a position whereby there's no strategy on how to control him?
That one can be there, but you understand, by that time, it was also a threat within the administration. They
Yeah.
said that it is better outside than being inside. So he can do it outside. You can only oppose outside. You can't oppose within. So I think in sometimes it became comfortable for the administration because Kindiki has concentrated on empowerment,
Yeah.
and the president has been comfortable because Gachagua is no longer around to give him pressure on other issues, but he's doing it outside. But outside now, he has become more dangerous than when he was inside, because inside you could have contained him. There are things he could have not leaked to the public. Remember, there are things which he's currently stating, but people are asking him, kwa nini hakusema vile ulikuwa ndani? Unangoja utoke ndio useme. So to me, inside you could have contained some things you could have not exposed to the public.
Yeah.
Right now, he has nothing to lose. He's exposing everything. But I just want to say that impeachment was a blessing to him politically, because Gachagua right now, in terms of politics, is very young. He is not in sunset politically. Even if he is not going to become the president, if he can build a strong political base in Mount Kenya, he can use to negotiate after elections. What Baba has been doing for a quite long time, that he can negotiate with each and every government that has been established, must bring Baba on board to negotiate. Gachagua can play the same thing, that even if rather than after being impeached, I go back to Amunyoro, I can still emerge as one of the political factors to be considered in each and every administration, that I can have governors, I can have members of parliament, I can have senators, and even I can have MCA, so that I can negotiate and I can have political parties. So I can have a power center in Mount Kenya. So I think impeachment, to me, it has made him politically, but it has not destroyed him. If he could have destroyed him, he would not even managed to have a political party, or even commanding a certain people, or having a certain small constituency, or even it could be a center of conversation, because we have seen people in this country who have been forgotten. People like Jirongo. No one talked about Jirongo, but Jirongo was a comrade of William Ruto. We talk about William Ruto, not Jirongo. So I can say it is a blessing to him, because he has managed to even look at what is doing he has managed to bring people like Kalonzo, Eugene, Karua, Matiang'i together. So this is still in existence in the Kenyan politics. We are not done with him politically, I can say. Like we have not buried him politically. Hatujamzika katika kaburi la sahau kwa siasa za Kenya. Ndiposa mpaka leo hii tunamzungumzia.
Okay, asante sana ndugu yangu Barak. You know, Rigathi Gachagua has been named and has carried this tag of a tribal leader, and majority of his opponents actually call him tribal. And let's look at this scenario. In the event that people go to election and Rigathi Gachagua garners more members of parliament, and there's a situation that is needed that requires members of the parliament to vote in a certain way, and they require the whip of their political party leader, especially of what happened during his impeachment, you know, whereby the ODM came in. And the reason why they came in, because they came in for numbers. Do you think that tribal tag will be played at that moment, if it happens?
Yeah, Rigathi has come out to be a tribal leader. That's a fact, and he has played his card. You know, Rigathi took advantage of the leadership vacuum that was there in Mount Kenya region when Uhuru retired, and his people, the people of Mount Kenya, revolted against him and decided to vote for William Ruto. And remember, Gashagua was not considered to be anywhere near a leader for Mount Kenya community.
Yeah.
So there was a vacuum in Mount Kenya, and Mount Kenya needed a leader, someone who can stand up and fill the vacuum. And there was, we've had people there, Natakarua, the likes of Ndindi, people were mentioning about Ndindi Nyoro, and Gashagua gathered courage and he filled the gap, even though not fully, but he has really tried. So he came out as someone who is speaking on behalf of the people of Mount Kenya. And remember, some of the accusations that were labeled against him and then during impeachment was that he was a deputy president, but focused only on the region where he's coming from.
Yeah.
So and he understands that the reason why he was impeached a record time is because members of parliament did not from his region did not stand by him. And remember, even his own member of parliament voted to impeach him, his own member of parliament. Yes. From our Madeira constituency. So he with that understanding, he said that they will never again go into any party if they don't have their own. They will only work with any other leader, but from their own political party, because they understand that when you have your own political party, means you have your own members of parliament, your own senators, governors, you will be treated differently. Yeah? Because I am sure if they could have formed a coalition with Ruto, him having his own party and Ruto having his own party, this impeachment could have not succeeded, because he could have given he could have directed members of his party to act differently. And since he was not a leader of any party, he did not have a party of his own, that's how it was very easy to remove him from office. So, and that's why he started a journey of building his own platform. If impeached or not impeached, whether he will be barred from running or not, he wants to have his own house where he can be controlling. So if he's barred from running, he'll be using the members of his party to advance his own political agenda and even the political agenda of his people. He will tell them that we are using this to advocate for our own interest. So it's going to be very interesting if he's barred from running, and yet he has a party that has a commendable number. So he will be a sought after politician, because if you want to do something in parliament, you will be looking for Gashagua to negotiate so that he can give you his numbers. So that is what he has been working, and he has been consistent, saying that they are looking forward to winning seats so that he can use that to advance his political agenda, whether barred from running or not. That is his goal.
Yeah, and thank you, Barak. But like when we're looking at it and we're taking this scenario, because sometimes we need to have a conversation, because with us we are not politicians, so we don't have allegiance. We have not signed allegiance to any political leader. We are just having a conversation and looking at what the politicians say. In the essence, if you're looking at it critically and giving it or zooming it out, we are looking at who is not tribal, because like this is some of the things that we need to discuss, because like who is not tribal? Is it that because Rigathi Gachagua is more tribal than them, or Rigathi is just tribal?
Maybe you know, we can analyze that using what has been happening in the country, because many people are not comfortable talking about tribalism by now looking at the facts. When you are given opportunity, how did you spread that opportunity across the country? Let me give you a scenario here. ODM party, people say it's a low party, right? And if you look at how the members of, you know, if you gauge something outside, so let us gauge ODM outside lowland. Let us look at ODM in Nairobi County. How has ODM distributed members of representation in the National Assembly? You realize that we have Luhya members of parliament who are elected under ODM, 3 of them, and yet we had Luhya political parties. For example, Ford Kenya is led by Watangula, but Watangula's brother has been elected in Nairobi under ODM. And so another issue, when Ruto came together with the Raila, and he was given 4 positions to the cabinet, how did he distribute that? We see that he brought in Joho from Coast, he brought in Oparanya from Kakamega, from Western, he brought in Opiyo Wandayi from Siaya, and he brought in John Mbadi. And also the Turkana, there are things that are 5, also this lady from Turkana. Now, look at when Ruto gave Uhuru Kenyatta an opportunity to bring people in his government. How did he distribute that? He brought in Lee Kinyanjui, he brought in Kafogo, and he brought in this guy, Mutahi Kagwe, all Kikuyus. So when after the reshuffle, Rigathi Gachagua was always saying that Bora usiguze mulima, and he used to count for them how many CSS they have. But they say in Kirinyaga we have this, in Nyeri we have, but he never mentioned any other region having anything. And so when you come out as a national leader and your focus is only on one region, yes, we have the government is national. But how are you allocating that, and how are you sharing this national cake? Are you even slicing others to a small size to other region, or you are just concerned with where you come from is gaining from the government?
But now, when you look at the employment, especially look at the heads of parastatal, and you look on how they've been employed, because like if you look at it, they seems to be coming from the same community. Does it mean that you can do it silently, and that's okay? But if you talk like Rigathi Gachagua, now you become that. How then do we classify?
It is not okay to do it silently or loudly. We have been suffering from tribalism since independence. And as a country, we've been trying to get out of that. And that is why I'm not very comfortable with leaders who always keep on referring. Because the reason even why we people fought for devolution is because of this tribalism, where everything is centralized, and the president decides who gets what, when, and how, according to how they feel. And this issue of members of parliament going to kneel to the president at State House before they get development, we were trying to cure this through devolution, but it's a work in progress. But you can see that cancer is still in our minds. That someone will tell you that I'm going to say president so that we can get development, and yet devolution was trying to cure that the same. And when Ruto and Gashagua came into power, the first recruitment of KRA, remember, it was even declared null and void by the High Court, because they said it was dominated by 2 communities. Our turn to eat kind of a mentality that even in these small positions, clerical jobs, we leave alone even parastatal heads, that you go and you employ two communities 80%, and then you leave the rest of the country to scramble for 20%. It is immoral from our leaders. And you know, it is something that is entrenched in our DNA, that people feel that once one of us is up there, then it has to trickle down to the common man in the village. And that is why when Gashagua talked about shares, and was saying that since people who voted for this government should be the first people to benefit from the government. Now, how are we going to distinguish between the right of every citizen to get employment, equal opportunity for all citizens to get employment from the government? Because the government is inaitwa ajib. The government should serve all Kenyans equally, depending irrespective of how they voted for. Because you don't vote, then when someone you voted for is defeated, you stop paying taxes. You continue paying taxes because it is your responsibility as a citizen. And that means also that for you to receive services from the same government, opportunity from the same government, it is your right. It is not a favor you are being given by anybody. So we need to focus on leaders who are not spreading tribalism. We've suffered from tribalism for a long time, and it is true that we have sections of this country that have suffered from underdevelopment because of politics, of tribalism. Look at when we mention these things, look at even when Kibaki was the president, look at how the treasury, people who are serving working at the treasury, how were they distributed? From the CS for finance, Minister of Finance, to the central bank governor, to the KRA direct, how were they distributed? And I think Kenya, we have a big problem. And any leader who wants to be national leader, they must demonstrate that they are taking Kenya forward. And they are not just going to continue with the status quo, because the status quo is what has been ailing us.
Okay. Thank you so much, Barak. And I'm seeing Makobura is already here. Miguda, and on the same note, and when it comes to issue of tribalism, we tend not to talk about it, and sometimes we find there are some leaders who are more tribal than others, and the tribal also switch when we switch our camps, because for instance, if today you join this coalition, as what we are seeing today, like how they switch their coalitions and their interest, when it is switched, there are those who will be considered tribal, and those are not going to be considered tribal. And it's a conversation, and we the voters, especially the people usually buying it, at what point do we classify somebody to be more tribal than others?
I think now it depends on who is pointing who, because but first let us admit that there is tribalism in Kenya. That's a fact. And that people who are tribal, those are facts. And the president is the head of state and is the appointing authority. So the president can sit down and inquire from leaders from different regions that I wanna appoint people to various positions. Then you'll find that a leader in a certain region will propose the names of the people from his own tribe that give us this docket, this one. And when you ask him, what are the names? You get the names to be Otieno's, all in quote. But a president can ask another leader that, can you give me some people from your camp? Then another leader will give people who are diverse. Someone from Kwale, someone from Busia, someone from Wajia, someone from Suba, someone from Alego Usonga, and someone from even Masai. So that's where I think there is a difference, whereby some anybody can propose different people depending on the people in his camp. But someone can only bring people from Ukambani, people from Ukambani, from person 1 to person 9, we are all campers. So I think that's why people can say, okay, this person is more of a tribe. He doesn't want to give opportunity to other people. And also the question, what if I merited? All of us are merited. Will you look at my tribe before appointing me? So I think if you want to make it look like who is not tribal is tribal, of course, I've said that there are people who are tribal and tribalism is there in this country. But look at the president now. The president is, to me, I can say, being a state leader, he needs to appoint the various people. But in his cabinet constituted, he has actually bring more people who are not Kalenjins. Let me begin by saying that one. Leave alone the issue of paracet, because anytime people bring this debate, people rush to paracetamol.
Yeah.
Before you go to paracetamol, look at the composition of the cabinet. They are more mountainous than any other tribe in this country. And the Gashagua camp are accusing you of tribalism. To me, I can say, aside of state, he has tried to give opportunity to other people, even when it depends on the meritocracy. So that one, I can say, he has tried. If it comes to parastatals, maybe you can say the chairman or the chairpersons. But what about the CEOs or the deputies? There are other tribes. And even when there was this introduction of the broad base, they has introduced people like in the PS position. There are some people whom he has introduced. So to me, I can say, as a president, yes, I duty to ensure that he bring the face of Kenya.
Yeah.
But actually, he has tried to bring that one. But also remember, he's coming from somewhere. I can say that one. So to me, I can just say how you speak or how you advocate for your region matters. And that's why we had the issue with the Burodinga. When he said, now because the CS finance coming from the Luo Nyanza, he should slant that knife so that when he's cutting that cake. But remember, we are a nation and we're fighting tribalism. So to me, I can say it comes out very clear when you advocate for your region solely. That's when people will refer to you as tribal. But when you give opportunity to other people outside your tribe, then you will appear to be not tribal. But all in all, I can say this tribalism and there's that factor. And Gachagua has been painted as the face of tribalism because he used to say things. I can say people cited shareholders and also things like Mrema, and he was saying that hii docket ilikuwa yetu na walichukua wakapatia Wajaluo. So there's no docket that belongs to you. It belongs to Kenya people. So I think out of his utterances made him to be branded as a tribal leader. But just like I've explained to you, in that composition, the president has tried to distribute opportunity to Kenyans, but most importantly, when he gave Raila opportunity, Raila tried to distribute, and even the Luo people complain that huyu baba kila wakati hapendi Wajaluo, anapeana watu wengine. And even in 2007, when he was the prime minister, he gave CS to other regions. So I think to that extent, I can say to the extent that there are some leaders who are not more tribal than others. They try to give other people opportunity. But if I merit, you should not look at my tribe.
But do you think, like, when you're looking at our political sphere or our political landscape, even what we're doing, meritocracy, do you think like it usually applies in our politics? Even when giving jobs, we look at meritocracy and, we employ you in terms of that.
The other thing we need to understand before we go to meritocracy is because here is a political sphere whereby is we are dealing with the politics. We are not in a company or we are not in a corporate world whereby you need to do interviews, look at your background, meritocracy. But politics, it's more of appointments, and it's more of who can advocate or can advance your interests in a strategic positions.
Yeah.
So when it comes to political context, I can say it will depend on where you are coming from. Like me, I can say, if I can say I'm a Maasai, and Nairobi governor currently is a Maasai. So I can say I'm overqualified to be Nairobi governor. Don't look at my tribe. Don't look at who is there. Because I'm qualified, I have merited. I must be Nairobi governor because of my meritocracy. That one, I will be advancing my own interest to my view. So sometimes if you look at the meritocracy, you can end up advancing your own interest. For instance, let me give you an example. If you look at the meritocracy, we can say Kibaki was a Kikuyu, then he was succeeded by Uhuru Kikuyu. Right now we have a Ruto who is not a Kikuyu. We can say because of meritocracy, we don't look at the diversity. Give us another Kikuyu in 2022 and even 2032. Give us another Kikuyu because they have merited. Because we have many Kikuyus who can become president. But because we understand right now, it's politics. Okay, diversity, maybe one region, we need to change it. Okay, let us give it to a Kalenjin. Even it is them, Kikuyus, who voted for him, that let's give a Kalenjin because, like us, we have just served for the last 20 years. So if you take a route of meritocracy in politics, I can assure you, you can end up with a Maasai from the Independence Day to until we get out of this world, because you can't tell me that because we had two Kikus as president, now the rest of Kikus have not merited. No, we have people who can become president from Kiku nation. But that now, you don't bring meritocracy so much into politics. Sometimes you need to gauge and also dialogue. That's why people do sit down, engage, and it is recognized in our constitution, diversity, that the Kenyan people are diverse. And whenever you want to distribute resources or distribute position, the issue of, if you look at our Article 10, national values and principle of governance, those values and principle of governance, one of them is representation. So in the representation, be it in the executive, be it in parliament, it must be diverse. We can't have a Kale president until the kingdom of God comes. We must diverse that presidency. So I think that is how I can relate my interpretation issue of meritocracy. We need to remove the issue of corporate or company.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Miguda, for that. Makobura, thank you so much for joining. How was your day?
Good evening. Good. My day was okay, and I thank God. Let me say hi to you, to Barak, and to Miguda, and again, not forgetting our viewers, and especially those of them who have commented or those who have participated in one way or another. We really appreciate.
Okay, thank you so much. And I'm also reminding our viewers, if you're new here in Brother Benson Media channel, you can subscribe so that when we are having a conversation like this, the YouTube will notify you, and you can join us, interact with us through comment section, and also share your view on the discussion of the country. Or if you have any issue that you want us to put to discussion, you can also share with us. We will be very glad to engage you on it. And thank you so much. Makubura, we are just talking about the return of Rigathi Gashagua. We show how we saw today how he was shielded at the airport. Along the way, he was the goons attacked his procession, and he canceled the meeting that was supposed to take place at Kamukunji, the rally, public rally, and he went home. I heard Malala is saying that we are going to make sure that he goes home and until he reaches his bedroom. That is the only time we will leave him. What is your take on the entire scenario from the time he arrived at JKIA to time he encountered the Goons to the time now he's being escorted to his home?
Okay, fine. Thank you. First, I want... yesterday I did give my comment of what really I was thinking was right, or the right ways in which the government needed to have maybe handled the former deputy president. First, I did say yesterday that Rigathi Gachagua is a politician just like any other politician. Of course, he has his political party together with his supporters. And this is not the first time that we are seeing a politician coming back home from abroad. Raila has done this not once, but several times. And remember, Raila has been on the opposition side for quite a long time. And whenever he leaves and he comes back, he has always been received with a multitude of people. And of course, not forgetting, the governments have always been trying to curtail the movement of the people, especially when they're going to receive him. But that again did not stop the supporters from receiving. What I've realized in Kenya is that when you try stop the people and politicians from doing what they think they want to do, normally we've seen consistent fights or consistent disagreement between the people or the supporters and of course the police, and that normally has not ended very well. We've actually not once or several times we've had people some of them have even been killed, some of them have been injured, and these are things that we can avoid. Remember, we are dealing with human beings at this particular time, and if people are having divergent opinion, the only thing you can do as a government is to ensure that their lives are protected. So of course this was something that was known. Some Kenyans had of course advised the government that they should focus on creating an atmosphere that was receptive, an atmosphere that would enable those people who are coming out to receive their leader to do so in a peaceful manner. But again, just like what we've always seen, the power, maybe the politicians want to show power, the government wants to show power, the people are also caught in the middle, and those are part of the things which have always caused chaos and running back and forth. So to me, it was because this was something that was known. The best thing the government would have done is to create an environment, a secure environment, so that people would not engage into activities which are not really good or right. But of course, what happened. It's unfortunate that there were even tear gas and people running left, right, and center. Something that, what really worries me, or what really made me to worry is, this was like an event. And, when you're going to have an event, you do plan for that event. So, of course, the government really knew what was happening and what was going to happen. So, I think the best thing they would have done is to really prepare for that in a manner that would reflect good leadership. But again, normally we've also seen goons and rowdy youths coming in, something that of course can be controlled by the government side and also by the political or people who are doing such kind of things. But again, the issue of goonism, I think it's getting out of hand, because we are seeing the opposition side using goons, we are seeing the government side using goons. And remember, these goons are Kenyan youth. So the moment you try to empower youth in a way that is not really right or legal, then you are creating an atmosphere where people with bad behaviors or thieves are going to come up, because whenever you give them an environment where you are protecting them and telling them or giving them certain instructions, that is when youths will normally get out of their normal behavior, normal minds, and then become serious thieves. So we need to really look into such things. As much as we are having different political views, as much as politics is making the people of Kenya to have different stance, but there are some pertinent issues that really need to be looked into in a very keen and in a manner that really uh, makes the country going forward in prospering. Because if you don't speak about such kind of things, it is not right. Gashagua as a Kenyan had a right to be received with his supporters, but of course in a peaceful manner. The kind of speed that he was taken through was of course not good. And to me, I've always believed that I'm not a supporter of either the government side or the opposition side, but I'm a believer. I'm someone who believes in peace. I'm someone who believes in discussion and talking and understanding each other. The country belongs to us as a people, and therefore, if there's anything that is not going right, I think we, the people of Kenya, we have to sit down and discuss issues affecting us without involving or bringing issues to do with chaos and fighting and tear gas and so forth. That is my take.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Makobura. And I don't know how true is it. I'm seeing that the first tour that Rigathi Gachagua is going to have after jetting in the country will be Meru tour this weekend, just to test the ground ahead of Mbeere North capture. What do you say about that, Mr. Barak?
Yes, he said that he was coming home to help prepare for the forthcoming by-election. So I think it's a good move, and he will really try so much to ensure that he captures that Mbeere North, and that's going to be a direct confrontation between him and his successor. And even Ruku, who is now serving as a CS, they will have to play hard politics, because Professor is not he does not know how to throw hard tackles, and that is that is his main undoing in Kenyan politics. If you want to thrive in Kenyan politics, you must know how to hit so hard sometimes, and play hardball. But this Mbeere North by-election is going to be very interesting, because if Gachagua wins it, then it will be a loss not to Ruto but to Kindiki, and because it will not be useful to Ruto if you can lose such a very important by-election, and that will, I think, that from that their relation will start straining slowly towards 2027, because these Ruto's handlers will see Kindiki as a liability in politics and not as anybody who is useful. And so I think Gachagua will invest more time in that by-election as opposed to other by-election, because this is very special to him. He want to humiliate Professor and show him that he's in politically he is the big brother now. So I think he is a good move. Let him go that direction and see, because as a politician, you want to build his capacity, and one way of building capacity is by winning such kind of elections.
Okay, talking about the deputy president, and I've always seen that deputy president, when you look at the current politic waters, I don't think that deputy president has put in too much, even the Rigathi Gachagua, because like the way you've talked about his punches, his punches are not so heavy punches, the heavy political punching, the way Rigathi Gachagua does, because, and this is from even the narrative, the names, one of the things that, especially even if you look at, you borrow from Donald Trump of USA, one of the areas that he was good at naming, naming his opponent, he gives them some political names that people will keep on referring to them, even in his rallies. I can remember the days when they were fighting for the nomination of the GOP, because like you look at the governor for Florida, DeSantis, was leading in the polls, but like he came up, we called him the meatballs, you know, the Sleepy Joe, the crooked Hillary, you know, this political, and like when he's on the podium. But you look at even Rigathi Gachagua, when you look at the how he refers Mr. Kindiki, the Mr. Moneybag, the soprano, and these things are hitting, and Kindiki is not hitting back, you know, and Kindiki is not hitting back. How will he especially encounter such, like, you know, issues? And when he comes with the Mbwegze, you know, you come with this, always you do this, you know, and even the Mungi Mbwegze is not your own or what, your own narrative, you know. You have to come up with a narrative to encounter. Do you think the strategic committee or the people that he work with in the strategy team have coined something to rebuttal such name calling that by Rigathi Gachagua?
Well, I think his personality plays a lot, and I think he has not gotten out of his his professorship and joined politics fully. Because you know, in Kenyan politics, the only person who was very lucky to be the president without being someone with hard tackles was Kibaki. Kibaki was very lucky. He was a polite gentleman who was given presidency on a silver platter. And now look at the journey. You can even look at the journey of Uhuru Kenyatta from 2002 up to 2013 when he became the president. He was a gentleman until at some point in 2012. Then he came out of that gentleman and he started now confronting
the issues.
Raila Odinga. And he said that nilikuwa nimejificha lakini wamenitoa chini ya kitanda. Sasa nataka kupatana nao kisiasa. And he started now hitting hard. And that is how he just won the political support of Mount Kenya just like that. By being by throwing hard punches at Raila Odinga. And remember that Raila Odinga has been a darling of many people because of how he understands how to throw punches at his opponent. And even William Ruto, why did he just win the hearts of the people just like that? Because of how he mastered how to throw punches, how to nickname, the way you are used to saying, nicknaming his political opponents. When he tell people, ule jamaa ule mganga, ule jamaa vitendawili, and people like that. But you know, if you're just saying fire, see fire, no mercy, no, you know, you're not making sense to many people. People want you to come out strongly and throw heavy punches at your opponent, and even look at if you look at the political journey of Professor Nyong'o, he was a gentleman until some point. Then he decided to be now a politician. You know, when you are doing Kenyan politics out there, remove yourself from lecture halls. You are no longer a lecturer. Come in the field, and you know, politics is murky. It is done in Kenya. It's not. You are not talking to students. You are not lecturing students. So professor should understand that and stop lecturing students in political rally. He should play politics when he's in political. You know, the president is playing politics while it is his deputy who should be playing more politics because he's assisting the president. So he should understand how Kenyan politics is played so that he can be useful to the president. Otherwise, he will be replaced. And he will not even go beyond 2027 if he does not play politics the Kenyan style and become useful to the president.
Okay, Miguda, you know, from the information that we are getting, that said the next stop for Rigathi Gachagua, that is the public rally that he will be having, that is in this weekend, he's going to Mbere, where the election will be taking place in November, and the mini poll in November. And if you look at the people that have been tasked, especially to match Rigathi Gachagua or to make sure that that seat comes back to UDA, we have people like Sabina Chege who are strongly supporting the president. We have Mwangi Kiunjuri, we have Deputy President, we have also Kimani Chungwa and the MP from Meru. And they're putting up this force, especially to make sure that the president retain the seat, or even to make sure that they diffuse the influence of Rigathi Gachagua in the region. How do you see them stopping Rigathi Gachagua from getting that seat?
I just want to give my prediction today for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I think many have come to pass, like the AUC came to pass, and also today's has come to pass when I say they were not going to arrest him. So I want to confirm to you that Gashagua will have them for a breakfast, all of them. Let me tell you one. This is what I'm telling you like that. You let me begin by saying this. Like I've told you that this year's theme for our camp meeting is maximize each and every opportunity.
Mm.
And the citation is coming from Apostle Paul, who maximized each and every opportunity. And even when he was taken to captivity at Rome, he was writing letters still at captivity. And even he wrote to Timothy. That's where he wrote Timothy 1 and Timothy 2. He was writing to Timothy. So we are being taught as Adventists that we need to maximize each and every opportunity this year. And Gashagua is maximizing each and every opportunity. Leave alone Gachagua. I want to respond. I want to tell you that why that team is not serious, because remember right now this broad-based government, and whenever William Ruto is having a meeting with the ODM lawmakers, when he was in Awendo, when he was in Mabey, look at people who are very strategic. People like, look at Junet Mohammed. Junet Mohammed has been hitting Gachagua heavy punches. And so this thing is lacking in Kindiki. So it's like Junet maximize each and every opportunity is having Mr. President, is maximize that opportunity by hitting heavy punches to the former deputy president. Look at Wanga. Wanga is saying like, Ule mtu wa ukabila, and people have been saying, you ODM people, you don't need to attack Gashagua, because it is Ruto's what Sifuna said, and I want to quote Sifuna. Sifuna said, Gashagua's is Ruto's funeral. So you should leave it to Ruto and the UDA lawmakers. But you ODM, you are going overboard, but they don't know that's how politics is. These people are trying to position themselves that in case it comes to our side that you want us to give running mate, we can propose people like Junet who can hit Gashagua heavy punches. But people like Kindiki, and I want to conquer with Barack. I want to conquer with that personality. You know me, I understand Kindiki. I know him very well. Kindiki is a professor of law. And Kindiki has been too professional to an extent that he doesn't understand that he left lecturing many years ago. When he was elected the senator for Tarakanita, and he was even MP, and he was even the majority leader in 2013 parliament. So Kindiki should understand that people no longer need those things like decorum, things like and actually this is why I want to make him say, because when he was the CS for internal security, lives were lost, but he's a professor who should defend human rights. So if people lost their lives and he has lost his credibility as a human rights activist, so what is it that is not going to lose by just hitting Gashagua, giving Gashagua heavy punches? So this Kindiki, to me, Kindiki lazima achi hizi ujinga ndogo ndogo za kukua mtu mungwana. Siasa kuna ungwana, na kama unaleta ungwana kwa siasa, shauri yako. That's why I'm telling you, even Ishungwa, Ishungwa is doing his best to hit Gashagua, and in that team I can only give Ishungwa credit when it comes to heavy punches. But people like Sabina Chege, people like Gashagua will not waste time respond to people like Sabina Chege. Gashagua will go to Meru specifically to hit that this candidate is Kasongo, and once he has mentioned the Kasongo's name, people will vote out Kasongo, that candidate. So I don't think that team is enough for you. Let him go to Ugonja, because he is having a candidate at Ugonja and he's also having a candidate at Kasivu Kabondo. You will see the real campaign in those constituencies. Heavy punches against Gashagua. But this Meru, Gashagua is going to take this seat very early in the morning.
So, okay, thank you so much. Before I invite in Makubura, maybe in brief, you've talked about especially the ODM brigade, especially hitting Rigathi Gachagua heavy punches, political heavy punches in their zoning or in their areas. And maybe this is one is informed by maybe looking to have better position when, if in case the merger between the ODM and UDA materialize and they go for election. So they are eyeing a lucrative position. That is one. And they want to make sure that the presence of Rigathi Gachagua is not felt in their areas of, in their zoning. That is one. And also talking about of punching, whereby especially they let the ODM punch Rigathi Gachagua on their zone, but they don't, ODM do not campaign in the areas whereby Rigathi Gachagua controls, so which means it doesn't have no meaning. So where does that one especially now put Kithure Kindiki in terms of maybe in the event that the ODM and UDA merger, what position will he be given?
We are predicting each and every day, and I was seeing scenario whereby my own prediction, I was saying that not that I'm right, I might be wrong, because I received a false news, and I was saying that Kindiki can be put, maybe he can be the speaker of the National Assembly, what was given to Watangula, because Watangula will also be have for a breakfast. In case ODM and UDA, I know ODM are very ruthless people. We know those people. If ODM merger with UDA, that's now you'll see the real drama, because they will say, okay, they will like with that. Okay, we are going to support you, William Ruto.
Yeah,
Kindiki is a liability to you, because even in Meru, he cannot secure a by-election seat for you. So why must you take this person as a deputy president? And us, we are already established system. We have such MPs, we have such governors, we have a command center. We are only waiting to hear from Baba. Akisema jump how high. So these are people who are ready, and they say, okay, the least we can negotiate is the deputy president. So that's why those people who are, we say those people are very quick learners, like Junet and Wanga. They are trying to position themselves strategically, so that in case there is a inquiry from president to reward them the president position, if in case they merger, they can be pushed that we have like 3 people, now you can select out of 3. But you need someone who can hit heavy punch, the way I've told you. And that's why Ruto went for Gashagua, because Gashagua could hit Uhuru like no one's business. And Gashagua could hit Raila like no one's business. You need such people in your circle. But if someone like Kindiki, look at the way he has tried to rebrand himself, like mimi nimepigana na Al-Shabaab, nikapigana na bandits, mimi ni noma, mimi ni fire. But Gachagua is not a bandit. Gachagua is not Al-Shabaab. This is a different case whereby we are dealing with the politics, not issue of national security. The national security should be distinct from politics. And let me tell you, like you know, when I was moving around, when we were when I was moving around on last Saturday, when we were with Prime Minister Raila Odinga, I was inquiring people from the ground that, you know, like me, I tend to be more of non-partisan. So I was telling them, okay, Gashagua is going to land back in Kenya. And Gashagua currently has managed to convince many people, and actually is having many people followers. So if I'm given a mic to speak here in front of Prime Minister Odinga, I'll just say, okay, let us embrace everybody, including Gashagua. You know what I was told? Don't. Usijaribu. Here we don't talk about Gashagua. So I was just like, I was trying to engage so that I know what's happening. So I realized that, okay, there are people who already have strategized. They are hitting heavy punch to Gashagua locally at ODM zones. So in ODM zone, they don't want Gashagua. The same way they never wanted Ruto in 2022. So the same thing. So Kindiki, if Kindiki cannot if Kindiki cannot actually execute the roles or the mandates he has been assigned by Ruto, I think people like Sudi and Farouk are going to replace him, because he has been even forced. The other time he was slapped, he was told, you need to say this, you need to be active, you need to. Now he has been forced to go to empowerment, and even they were trying to dress him up. You need to put this Ganzo here, you need to put this cap here. So he has been on pressure. So I think going forward, William Ruto or the UDA brigade are going to see him as a liability. Then there's no need of having a liability in a hotly contested political scene, whereby we are going to have people like Malala on the other side, people like Gashagua. You know them very well. So you cannot bring people like Kindiki to contest.
Okay, thank you so much. Before I bring in Barack Makobura, you are not around, and some of the some of the things we picked, especially from Gashagua rival, we were looking at the opposition. We did not see, especially the United Opposition member, who went to give Rigathi Gachagua support, moral support, or to welcome him home. We only saw the DCP members. What does this one speak about the opposition, if you will?
I don't know if you remember yesterday we did speak about the comments of Advocate Njiru labeling Dr. Matiang'i as a project. That was a typical sign that there is, of course, not really good working relationship in the opposition side. And something else that I've noted is that all these parties within opposition, they're also trying to, fight for supremacy. There's a supremacy battle within the opposition side. And, partly some of the comments which have come from the members have somehow not gone well with the party members. I mean, other party members.
Yeah.
And that is why you're seeing that this was a DCP thing. And the DCP guys had to fight for it. This was a party leader of a specific party. And so the members of that party had to come out and welcome him. If suppose any other political party would have come out to welcome Rigathi Gachagua, then in one way or another, it would have been, in quotes, seen as the supreme leader of the opposition. And that is one thing that the other political parties did not really want to send a signal similar to that, because if you had, for example, some days ago when the DAP-K had a problem within themselves, and they were saying that they are trying to consolidate. You remember the former CS, Honorable Eugene, was saying that they're trying to consolidate so that come 2027 they will be, going for the presidency.
Yeah.
That is a sign to you that all these political parties are also trying to, to build themselves. But as much as they are building themselves, they do not really want to associate so closely with other political parties, because they will be seen as some weakling political parties that cannot really work without being on the shadow of the DCP or Rigathi Gachagua.
But Makobura, before you continue, from the look of or the face value, when you are rating the United Opposition, who is more opposition in that United Opposition?
Of course, the truth is Rigathi Gachagua is coming out to be a strong politician in the opposition side. But that put aside, remember, all these political parties have what we call personal interest. Each political party, they're fighting for their own interest. If DAP is given the opportunity to present the presidential candidate, they would welcome that with all their hands. If suppose Wiper is given, of course, that again would apply. So what is happening is that, remember, the people of Kenya, or the people who are supporting opposition, they've not really settled on a specific political party or a specific candidate that they're going to support. So the union or the relationship that is there between the political parties, it has to be one, of course, that is guided with different political interest. Them coming out. Remember, some few days ago, some people had started saying that the opposition cannot function without Rigathi Gachagua, and they did not really even hold any serious political rally the way they used to do when Rigathi was there. And it was even said that it is Rigathi who was the driver of the opposition party. The opposition, united opposition, whatever. So them again coming to unite with Rigathi Gachagua at a time when Rigathi was coming back would have shown that truly they are not any powerful, or they do not have any influence in the opposition, rather than Rigathi Gachagua. If you remember what used to happen during Raila's time, people would come from different political parties, and of course they would recognize the fact that Raila was the supreme leader of the opposition. I remember Hassan Omar was then the Secretary General for Wiper, and he was there. And I remember him giving a speech that, Baba, while you were away, remember Farah Malim, the likes of Farah Malim, remember, quite a number of members of parliament who are on the side of Wiper. They were out there, and of course they were all welcoming. It was like a political rally for the entire opposition. There was a very serious difference with what we see today. This was a typical DCP affair. We did not see any big politician coming from these other political parties.
Okay, thank you so much, Makobura. Okay, thank you so much, Makobura. But Barak, and let's now do away. We've discussed more about Rigathi Gachagua, and we know Rigathi Gachagua, now he has come. They were talking about Kenya was very peaceful. Kenya has been peaceful. Is that like the political temperatures is now, the political gears are going to shift? Tunangoja Sunday Barak akienda kanisa wavurugwe pale wakatazwe kunini, it become a discussion of the day. And that's why I agree with you. You say that by the 2027 watakuwa serikali watakuwa wako na kibarua kigumu to contend Rigathi Gachagua, because like I know they will even be trying to stop him from addressing some his rallies. Remember, his deputy has always had difficult time when he was in the United States to address the public, especially when they leave the church. Now, let's come about what is happening in Parliament and to talk about the corruption. I know yesterday we talked about it, but we have to look at a different angle. Especially, you find that the MPs are saying that they are not corrupt, and they're not admitting that defending themselves. Why do you think they're defending themselves? Yet there are some incidences where they might have received some tokenism.
There's a day we were talking about corruption here, and I say that corruption is a polite word for a thief.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to be associated with corruption, even though they are corrupt. And we know very well that if you listen to the chairperson of EACC, my good Bishop Emeritus Dr. David Oginde.
Yes.
Oginde said that the investigations that are going on in Parliament, they are ranging from exaggerated allowances, and you find that this mileage that they usually claim,
yes,
sometimes per diems, they're exaggerated. And so it is not even just receiving bribe. It's about even how your conduct as a member of Parliament. How have you been carrying out yourself? And I mentioned here the other time that as a country, we got it wrong when we allowed parliamentarians to start controlling resources. And that dates back to 2002. Before 2002, parliamentarians were just normal citizens out here. Yeah. And when they started now having a say of how much to be paid, they started allocating themselves car grants. They started allocating themselves mortgages, house mortgages. They started now allocating themselves salary increments, setting allowances. That is when we got it wrong. And and CDF started. And if you look at members who have been in parliament since 2002, you cannot compare their lifestyle with those who are there before them.
Yeah.
And since then, politics has been the most lucrative career. You know, a society where professionals, people who have spent many years in school, learning skills, learning techniques, learning, are going to line up at the home of a standard 2 dropout to receive handouts. Yeah, because this standard 2 is a member of parliament. You know, it's a society that is upside down. Yeah. How did we end up here? When members of parliament started controlling resources. And that is why you see they are fighting so hard so that they can continue controlling the CDF, because this is where the oil is. Yeah? You remember when Israelis were told the land that is flowing with milk and honey. This is where milk and honey is flowing.
This is the Canaan.
To let it go. Yeah? Because if they let it go, they are going to lose grip on their constituencies. They've been using this CDF as a control tool to their constituents. When imagine a member of parliament who is controlling millions in terms of NGCDF is campaigning against people who have nothing to show off. How can you rate them fairly? Because he has already one leg in parliament, and he has resources to control. So there's something that Junior said yesterday, and I saw people castigating him because of what he said. He said that he does not understand how the government gives you a bursary to go and pay a government school. You know, surely it does not add up if you look at these issues objectively. And how comes members of parliament do not want to see sense in this? That we should not be having bursaries in their offices for us to go to and pay public schools. It does not make sense at all. Yeah. So members of parliament are fighting so hard to remain to sanitize their name from president's allegation that they are corrupt.
Yeah.
And yet, if we evaluate them, each and every one of them, none of them is clean. Yeah.
But right now, what is now happening is like they're pushing it to the executive. Like, go to the executive. We are not, you know.
Exactly, and remember, the same members of parliament have been alleging that during Gachagua'S impeachment, they were being given money, and they are not telling us who was giving them money. And those who claim that did not vote for to impeach Gashagua are the ones who are claiming that they were being given. So these members of parliament are also confirming to us that they usually receive money in the house before they vote. And if you listen also to David Ochieng when he said that the president brought a finance bill that was not popular to the public, they passed it for him. The share bill and the impeachment of Gashagua and so on and so on. So it means that before they pass any motion that is unpopular to the public, they receive something from the executive. So it is a clear demonstration or a clear confirmation that the executive, together with the parliament, together with the judiciary, we have a higher percentage of corruption element within. So we need to do what we call a radical surgery or a total overhaul so that we can face this dragon of corruption and slay it once and for all. I don't know if we'll reach a point where we will be having like Asian tigers or like China. When you are mentioning corruption, you hang yourself because of the shame that corruption is involved. But when you see members of parliament making noise because they know that corruption is associated with shame and stealing of public resources, but they are not really sanitizing their names by telling us that now it is, you do not accuse another person of corruption because they said you are corrupt. It means that you are also corrupt, but now you are just the degree of corruption is the one that is varying. Yeah, because they are not saying they are not, they're just saying wewe ndio mwizi sio sisi. So this whole lot is just pathetic. Back to you, Mark.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Barak. And maybe to our viewers, this is Brother Benson Media, and here we say that your opinion counts. If you're new to this channel, kindly like and subscribe. If you do so, it is a way of supporting us, na sisi hapa tutasema ni asante. Mr. Miguda, on the same issue of corruption, the other day, of course, you heard the comments of the president, and he did say something about, of course, he directed that to the members of parliament, the issue of corruption and what has been happening in the National Assembly, that is the parliament. My question to you, Miguda, is that we've had quite a number of politicians, some of them still within parliament, some of them left the government, some of them actually, some leaders who were removed from the from different positions within the government, they've come out to talk about corruption, and they're saying that some of them are admitting that there's corruption going on and money is being used to to sway or to change the thinking of certain leaders. And also especially in parliament, when some bills are supposed to be passed or certain things like, of course, impeachment, some laws are being passed that are favorable to the executive. We've had quite a number of allegations that money has been used. And so my question to you, Miguda, is if the president came out to criticize what has been happening in the parliament, and again you've had the revert that is coming from the parliament, my question to you is, why do you think the president has not really come out as he is the president, and the power that the president has to mention names, or even if not mentioning, there is the EACC, we have quite a number of relevant authorities that are supposed to investigate and do the prosecution. Why is it that he has not come out to assist in doing that kind of investigation? But again, you'll give us your take on that. What again is your thinking on the comments of these members of parliament, specifically, of course, directing it and saying that they cannot be threatened? Some of them are even saying that we will let the cat out of the of the bucket. What does that really mean? Could it be that corruption is happening and it is a true thing that is happening, and so the president cannot really have an easy way to come and deal with it, because he is being accused not once, several times, that he did interfere with how the parliament is run in matters of, for example, impeachment of Rigathi Gashagua, not just that, passing of certain bills. Be good.
Thank you. I believe that the president cannot fight corruption because the functions and the roles of president are outlined in the Constitution.
Miguda, are you there? Miguda? I don't know whether it's my internet or your internet. Barak, would you kindly confirm if I'm audible, if you can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Then I think Miguda is having a problem with his internet. Barak, maybe your take on that before Miguda
What was the
comes
question?
back. My question to you was, of course, the stance that we've seen in the National Assembly. We've seen, members of the National Assembly coming out to, they are speaking as if they know something that they cannot be threatened, and being that the president has quite he has some powers and he can deal with these accusations that he did make once and for all. And again, we have what we call relevant authorities that are supposed to be doing investigative and possibly taking it to the judiciary for prosecution. Why do you think the president would not make that decision by calling in the relevant authority to do their investigation and possibly to arrest the members of parliament who have gotten themselves involved in corrupt dealings? And then what do you think is the reason why the members of parliament are coming out to they're like protecting themselves and their image? And being that the president, of course, has what we call a lot of intelligence, quite sure that him coming out to make such an allegation, it seems that he has, some information that he knows. What could be the reason why parliament has this, defensive mechanism that is coming out from them? And they've gotten to an extent of even sending a warning to the president and the former premier that they cannot be lectured and they cannot even be accused. What is it that they might be knowing? And why is it that the president cannot come out to, to fight this once and for all?
The president, EACC is an independent body. It is the one that is constitutionally mandated to fight corruption. So they are not supposed to receive instructions from any office, including the president's office. But the president can only share information that he has that can help them to maybe for investigation. That is how it works. It is not about president fighting corruption or president saying arrest this one and that. No, constitutionally it is the EACC who should do investigation and do the arrest and do arrest and forward the files to the office of the DPP for DPP to take action, either to prosecute or to say that the evidence is not sufficient. So it is not, I think, Ruto being the president, much is expected of him, but people should understand how the law works. Remember, even the agency that he forms, people went to court and the court declared it null and void because the constitution has stipulated the roles and responsibilities of every office. And these independent commissions, they are supposed to work independently without interference. And interference means giving them direction that so and so is corrupt, go and arrest. That is interference. And once you do that, you even cast doubt on the credibility of that commission. So that's why fighting corruption in Kenya is very complicated, the way more than people think. Very complicated because of the legal hurdles that are there. The commission itself is like a toothless dog because they only they cannot prosecute. They only investigate, and the only person that can prosecute is the office of the DPP. So these challenges are there. Some others are just there intentionally to ensure that corruption cases are not successful. That is why my stand is always that if for us to have a successful fight on corruption, we must do away with the structures that we have right now, because they have been there, but they have not been working. Yeah. So why should we continue following, doing the same thing, the same way, and expecting different result? It will not work. The more this commission continues to be in office, the more to work the way it is, the more we continue to lose billions and billions of money through corruption. Because those who came up with those law that established this commission, They are the same people who are being accused of corruption, and they establish this. The architecture of the commission, the way it works, it works in a way that it cannot succeed. Yeah, because if you are investigating and you cannot prosecute, somebody else will decide whether to prosecute or not. But your mandate just ends at investigation. We are joking as a country, and if the president takes action, maybe we just suspend the constitution, and we have someone who can crack the whip on these corrupt individuals without following because the constitution itself, it is the one that is shielding this corrupt individual from corruption. Because if a member of parliament, maybe or a governor, just has a rumor that they are going to investigate him, he will go to court, and then the court will issue an injunction to stop the police even from arresting, even from doing a search. It has happened before, and yet then what will happen when that injunction is in force? They will continue hiding what they've stolen and hiding the evidence and destroying the evidence, and before you know it, money has been stolen, but you cannot trace it. You cannot trace where it was taken. So I think we are joking so much with this issue of corruption. And even if we say that we are going to follow the judicial system the way it is, and we are going to leave it to ACC to do it, we are going to have maybe 200 years where we are still talking about the same thing. So we need to have a conversation as a country. Has this commission been effective in prosecuting, in fighting corruption, in preventing corruption? How can we measure the success? Yeah, or the rate of corruption has just increased since it was established? And what can we do as a society? Should we just give up for the fight for corruption and say that we are a corrupt society, kila mtu aibe vile anaweza iba, and just forget about everything? Or should we change tactics? Should we employ a new strategy and see whether it will work for us? But that cannot work, because even the judiciary itself is part and parcel of corrupt element within the system. So if judiciary is corrupt, parliament corrupt, executive corrupt, if corruption index list comes out, police normally becomes the top the list, lawyers the same thing. So how are you going to fight corruption if agencies that are charged with fighting corruption are the highest rated in terms of corruption? How are we going to fight corruption if the judiciary that's supposed to be jailing these corrupt people is itself corrupt? How are we going to fight corruption if legislature that is charged with the responsibility of enacting laws and legislation is corrupt? Yeah? How are we going to fight corruption if the executive that is supposed to implement decisions made by the judiciary is itself corrupt? My brother, it is not possible to fight corruption in this kind of environment until we changed tact. And sometimes, if you look at the countries that have successfully fought corruption, like South Korea, like Singapore, like China, they've done it extrajudicially because judicial was not working. Yeah. So sometimes it will reach a point where a leader will emerge that will violate the constitution for the sake of fighting corruption, and even the judiciary will have to pay the price for that. But using the legal systems that are there for now, it is just a waste of time.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Barak, for giving us your take. And yeah, maybe I think now we get into football. I don't know whether you did speak about anything to do with football when you started.
No, we did not.
Barak?
We did not. I think I end with that.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, I think we'll start with the beef between Tanzania and Kenya, where there was even an allegation that Kenyans had bought tickets that they were going to watch the football match between Tanzania and Morocco. That, of course, brought a lot of issues. I heard that even the president of Tanzania spoke about it. The spokesperson of the government of Tanzania also spoke about it, and of course I heard him saying that there's nothing like that. Alisema ya kwamba Wakenya wanawauzia tu woga, hakuna kitu kama hiyo, na wasiogope. Kesho waende watazame the football match that will be going on. But again, there is something that has also been going on in social media, that Kenyans are supporting Morocco and that they are not wishing Tanzania any nice, any win. I'll give you a chance to give your take on that before we get into, you can also give us your take on the match that is going to be played between Tanzania, of course, versus Morocco. And what do you think about the outcome of that before we get into the Kenyan one, Barak?
Yeah, Kenya and Uganda, Kenya and Tanzania, we are neighbors who are very interesting. And how we tease each other is what makes it very interesting on social media. And I think the allegation was very interesting. It was the person who came up with that narrative was very creative, because it sent shockwaves in Tanzanians fear Kenyans so much because they know that the Kenyans are capable of anything. And they say that Kenyans hawapendi kuona mambo yakienda vile yamepangwa, wanapenda kupangua na kufanya vitu kinyume. So Kenyans with their bad manners, according to Tanzanians, are supporting Morocco. And I think the reason why that is happening is because Tanzanians despised Kenya, and when they say that Kenya is not does not match their standard, but Tanzanians are behaving like Arsenal fans, and when you see a team that has so many people who are just talking too much, just know that they are below average team. So if they beat Morocco, well and good, but it's going to be a very difficult match for them, even though they are the host. And I think Kenya shocked Morocco by beating them here in Nairobi. So Morocco are approaching this game knowing that this is East African teams can surprise you. So they have to be very, very careful with the Tanzania. And I think it's not going to be the same. They're not going to play the same way they played Kenya, because they've learned from that. And they are going to focus on this game with a different approach. And Tanzania has to play extra hard because Morocco is a good team. And Tanzania is also a good team. They've played very well. Remember, they've not lost any. They won all their group stage matches. So they're also doing well. And tomorrow is going to give them a different challenge. And if they overcome that challenge, then they've proved to us that they are a good team. So until then, time will tell.
Okay, thank you so much for giving us your take on what will be happening, of course, tomorrow. That is Tanzania versus Morocco. We are hoping to see how it goes, and of course, we will then get to know how how to solve the beef between Kenya and Tanzania that has been consistent. Of course, it started with politics and governance, and then now it is it went to music industry and talent, and today it is on football. And it's fun sometimes to watch the two countries make fun of each other. And we hope for the best. Yeah, so of course tomorrow Kenya will be having a game against Madagascar, if I'm not wrong. And it's a game that would really mean a lot to Kenya. Of course, Kenyans are hoping that Kenya will score against Madagascar, but the only, that is the hope and the wish of Kenyans. But you never know in politics, anything is possible. Like my good friend Barak will confirm to you.
That is not politics, that is football.
Anything is possible even in football. Remember what happened last week? Last week.
Where?
Of course, we had hopes. As much as a goal is a goal in football, brother Barak. I think you agree with me on that. A goal is a goal.
What you are saying is,
It doesn't matter if it has been scored.
What you are saying is true. Is that in football anything can happen. Waswahili wanasema mpira udunda, na mpira udunda until the 90th minute. You can really be shocked to see. We've seen things happen in football, results that are very strange. Even when you remember
maybe as well tunaweza fikiria ya kwamba Kenya itanyorosha hii Madagascar bila, without much stress, but you never know, they might come back. Unaweza pata wanakuja na nguvu ingine, na hiyo time wapate Kenya pia wako na mashida zao. So I'll give you a chance to give your take on this. Of course, the expectations of what we should expect tomorrow, and if we win, what will it mean? And suppose, God forbid, we lose, what will that as well mean? Will Kenya proceed? Suppose we win, or suppose we lose, what will happen? You can give us both scenarios, and again, you can also give us maybe an analysis of what you think is possible, being that we've played against other teams. Of course, Madagascar has also played against other teams. From what you've watched, the football games that you've watched, how can you rate the two, and what can we expect as mashabik?
I've not watched Madagascar play, but let me just say that Kenya in the group stage, Kenya was approaching the game as an underdog. Kenya, by the way, was the underdog in the group stage. You remember DRC is a two-time champions, and DRC is a football giant in Africa. Remember Angola is also a very strong team. Morocco, 2 times champions. Even Zambia is a big team. You cannot compare Zambia because they've won even the Africa Cup of Nations. So in that group, Kenya was the underdog. But now we are going into the quarterfinals, not as underdog, but as the favorites. Yeah. Now Madagascar is going to approach this game as underdogs, and there is no game that is very strict like a game where you are being seen as a favorite and your opponent is being seen as an underdog. And remember, knockout stage is only 90 minutes. If that team can hold you for 90 minutes, and you are added 30 minutes, and and it's still a barren draw, you go for penalty. Penal shootout is anybody's game. Penal shootouts has no favorites. So people who understand football, they speak the way you are speaking. Tunaweza mpira inaweza dunda na idunde vibaya, na ikidunda vibaya what will happen? Obvious, nothing will happen. Tutakuwa tumetolewa kwa competition. Nothing will happen. You will not stop Chan from hosting you will not refuse to continue with the responsibility of hosting, because now we are remaining with one match after tomorrow. That is the finals. Now, if we don't qualify to the finals, that will be a tragedy to this country, because the expectation that Harambee Stars has brought, when they started, we did expect much. By the way, we knew watafungwa na watatoka, maybe wafungwe na DRC, wafungwe na Angola, we expected them not to do anything significant, but after they started, ukasema kumbe walikuwa serious every game, kumbe wanaenda mbele. So right now tumeweka kule juu. Yeah, so
that's true. And actually, they've also united even the politician, and they have even toned down the politics that was continuing in the country. So there's much expectation.
And I've seen somewhere that Gashagua is going to attend that match tomorrow at Kasarani. I don't know if it's confirmed. I've seen it from a reliable source that he's going to attend the match. And so you can see the expectation. And bahati mbaya akuje kesho na wafungwe. he will be the sacrificial lamb. Because initially ilikuwa Raila akikuja atashinda, but now he has been coming and winning. So if Gashagua attends tomorrow's match and bahati mbaya Kenya ifungwe, he will be the sacrificial lamb and he will be blamed. You will just see. So we are hoping as a country that we are going to qualify for the semi-finals. Now the problem with semi-final is that Kenya is going to play away from home. because semi-final is will be hosted by Uganda and Tanzania. So Kenya will travel either to Uganda or to Tanzania. I'm not sure where they are going to travel. I think maybe to Uganda if they win, and they will play away from home for the first time in this tournament. And remember, they're going to play, if Uganda maybe qualifies for the semis, they're going to play the host. And I'm sure Kenyans will go to Uganda, but they will not match the numbers of Uganda. So that might also play as a role for them qualifying to the finals. That is if they go to the semifinals. So Tanzania is going to be, if they beat Morocco, they're going to be lucky because they will still host the semi-final match at home, and that will give them an advantage. Yeah. So whoever will come to Nairobi to play the finals, if Kenya is not there, yeah, imagine, let me just give you a scenario. Imagine Tanzania coming to play the finals in Nairobi and Kenya is not playing the finals. Mutaambia jirani nini? So that final will not make sense to Kenyans if Tanzania is
Kenya
there
will
and
be
Kenya is
disbanded and everybody.
So it's a very tricky situation we're finding ourselves in. So Kenya has no option but just to qualify for the final. That is if Tanzania is coming. But if Tanzania is not there, we don't have any business being there. We just want to teach them a lesson in Nairobi and lift the trophy. Mbele ya hao ndio wajue kwamba Kenya tuko. But basically, I think we are prepared. Personally, I'll go to watch the match live. So tomorrow I might report a few minutes live nikiwa Kasarani. So we want to support them and give them the moral support and the atmosphere, create the atmosphere that is favorable for them to win the match. And we hope, we wish them the best, so that we can even go to play semi-finals in Uganda. And I know the president has really motivated the team, which is a good thing. So waendelee tu kukula. Kesho wakishinda wanapata affordable housing, 2 bedrooms na 1 million on top. Mambo ni mazuri.
I wish I was a footballer.
Wewe umechelewa bwana. Umeanza kuchelewa.
Yeah, so what about the EPL? What is going on?
EPL tungoje weekend bwana. Acha mambo mingi.
Weekend inaanza kesho, and I was just seeing someone's status. Naona ameweka Arsenal, ameweka elephant, alafu ameweka hiyo nini ya Arsenal. The elephant inakuja ikitembea and
unajua Arsenal and realize that Gachagua'S is a flop, and now they are bringing in Enze to try to salvage the situation, because sometimes you might bring in a player with a lot of expectation, then they fail you. It has happened before, and I think it was wise of them to realize early enough when the transfer window is still open, and wameacha Tottenham na majozi kule White Hart Lane, because Tottenham were really hoping that they will get the signature of this guy. Now, if he's going to change the situation for them, it's a matter of wait and see. If he's going to align with that Arteta style of play. So basically, we are looking into the second week of the Premier League matches, and teams are still trying to get in players that they want. And I'm just wondering when Manchester is going to sign goalkeeper, because up to now I don't think they have a goalkeeper. So if they don't sign a goalkeeper during this, they are going to struggle until mid-season in January for a transfer window. And it might be too late, because if you cannot stop opponents from scoring goals, and it will force you, if you want to win, you score more goals than them, and that is a very difficult job for many teams to do. So they need to sort out their goalkeeping problems, and if they get another midfielder, well and good. But the forward line is okay. I think they've really sorted that out, and it will work well for them. So the forward will be motivated if the back is also solid. But if the defense is not solid, that the goalkeeper is leaking, then the back will be demoralized, and the team spirit will just collapse like that. and we'll go back to the good old days of Ole Gunnar and Ten Hag and so on and so forth. So they need to sort out the goalkeeping problem and bring in one midfielder who can help bring stability in the midfield. If they do that, if they bring those two important signing before transfer window is closed, I believe they're going to go places. But if they just keep quiet the way they are quiet right now, and transfer window is closed, then I will not expect much from Manchester United again this season. Sawa.
Okay, yeah. So thank you, Barak, for updating us in the field of football, and we of course wish our good team Harambee Stars all the best tomorrow as they watakapokuwa wanamenyana na Madagascar. So we wish them all that, and we hope that we will carry the day, we will carry the trophy, we will pass the semis and possibly get to the finals. It will start at what time, Barak?
Kickoff is start 5 p.m.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so me, I'll be watching it at that. Unakumbuka ile base yetu.
Yeah,
Anyway. Yeah, so maybe your last next. Oh, so yeah, you'll update us because wewe utakuwa huko utatuambia directly from the kitchen what will be happening.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I don't know whether you have your final remarks or we just close.
I'm okay. We just close, and thank you to all our viewers and all the co-panelists. Until next time, have a blessed time wherever you are.
Okay, fine. Thank you so much. Allow me to also acknowledge and to say a big thank you to Laban Misiani, Nehemiah, Father Didi, Gypsy Corner, Judith, and and everyone who joined the session. I want to take this opportunity to say a big thank you. This is Brother Benson Media, and here we say that your opinion counts. If you're watching us for the first time, kindly like and support us. We will really, really appreciate. Thank you so much, Gypsy Corner, for what you did. We really appreciate. I also saw Erickson, thank you so much, and everyone who joined and commented or participated, even for those who watched and those who will be watching later. Kindly like and subscribe to the channel. This is the Benson Media, and here you say that your opinion counts. Thank you so much. Until tomorrow, see you again. May God bless you. Asanteni sana.